Hi, I'm Barbara.
And I'm Clara.
We are Lumete Eyewear, and we speak fashion.
The idea of starting our own brand really started because I've always had this passion and this idea that one day I really wanted to design eyewear. That's what I wanted to do. And, throughout my life, buying glasses and sunglasses, it's very hard for me to find a pair that I really loved. I usually went with vintage glasses because they were the most interesting, because they were unique. And I kind of got tired of going to optical stores and always finding the same frames, same shapes, same colors. And Barbara had the same experience, traveling all over the world, and she lost her sunglasses and she started looking for a pair and was like, I can't find interesting sunglasses. Everything is the same. And so that was kind of like what put it out there. Barbara knew that I wanted to design sunglasses, and she called me and said, I'm sick and tired of seeing the same thing everywhere. You've always wanted to design eyewear. Let's start a business.
Clara, to me, was the most talented, most interesting, most, creatively inspired person that I knew. And so when we went into business together, that was partly why I wanted to do it. She's from Colombia. She went to the New School. She has she's like an expert in Gnostic iconography. Like, all of that was already there. It wasn't like we had to just invent some marketing story the way I think a lot of people might have to. So it was more about taking her inspiration and being able to convey it, which was why I wanted to get involved with her. And I think there's a lot of really great fashion designers out there that never really make it out of like a small scale realm. And there's a lot of very successful fashion designers that have a business partner whose name you've never heard of, but is really there to kind of help deal with the maybe the more boring parts, or the the marketing, the business parts of it, and allowing the creative side to have more time to develop designs and to convey their creative impulses and inspiration. So it's great to have a partnership in that way, and I think that gives us a little bit of an edge because we end up working together.
To design something that I wanted to wear that I couldn't find anywhere, something that was sculptural. I like very sculptural shapes like you see in our collection, playing with the temple shapes, and something that had a lot of detail and ornamentation, but that wasn't logo driven, because that is another big thing that I personally quite against. I don't like to advertise a logo in my face. And it was another thing that I had trouble when finding glasses, was like I would find a pair that fit okay, but then they'll have this big logo on the temple, and I'm like, okay, that's the deal breaker. I can't do that. We like to be very unique, very different, but still very sophisticated. We want to be different, to be out there, but still wearable, and we want the woman to feel elegant and chic, and because there's a big line between being unique eyewear and going into the costumey side, so we really work hard to maintain that balance. Making a point is challenging, and I think that is why a lot of brands tend to rehash the same old shapes. You see the aviator shape reinvented slightly, maybe a little different color, a little tint on the lens, but it's basically the same shape, the same fit. You see the Wayfarer, the classic Raven Wayfarer, done over and over and over again. We don't follow trends, and to me that's very important. We are more about having our own style, having our own voice, and having the woman who buys Lumete sunglasses feel really identified with the product. We want someone who sees these glasses and says, they're me. You know, I'll wear them and I'll be able to kind of use them to express my own style, rather than like, oh, I'll buy them because this is what's in right now. Attic safari, and the inspiration is, you know, it's an attic safari. It's kind of like finding hidden treasures, and it's supposed to evoke that idea of kind of like hunting for treasures, hunting for magical objects that will really inspire. You know, it's like going into an old attic and finding that magical book, and finding that heirloom pendant from your grandmother. I mean, that's, you know, kind of the inspiration behind them. So they're very kind of, you know, they're a reinterpretation of kind of the 70s drop temple. You know, if you can see, they're kind of oversized, and we really played with this kind of idea of playing with, you know, geometric and kind of organic shapes. So then we have our Dramolette, which is this kind of butterfly style, and it's inspired by a little butterfly fluttering into wakefulness, kind of like a butterfly waking up in flight. And this style is I think really kind of funky and playful, but at the same time it's very elegant, I think. Then we have the Uma, which an Uma is kind of like this Gnostic god entity representing creativity and the creative force. So we have the serpentine temples kind of representing that like thrust of the imagination and creativity, and, you know, the swirls, which also represent, you know, that internal drive of inspiration and creativity. This is the front is a little more classic in terms of, you know, more, I guess it would a little more reminiscent of the Jackie O style. Now Ulula, and this is inspired by an owl, and it, you know, which represents wisdom. And as you can see, this is kind of like the brow of an owl, and this is kind of like a winged vintage woodwork type design. And these are, you know, very dramatic cut eye, very oversized. This is, I think, one of her more dramatic styles, but it's also very, very elegant. And we love this color. This color is a very good seller. It has a little gold shimmer in it, and, you know, the kind of play with the front and back is very popular. People love it. Now the craftsmanship, you know, we can later go into in more detail, but our sunglasses are handmade, which means they're cut from a block of acetate rather than, you know, injection molded, which are glasses that are, you know, a mold is made and plastic is injected into them and they just come out of a machine basically. These are kind of hand cut from a block of acetate, hand polished, hand sculpted. So that also adds to the comfort and the quality of the glasses, because everything is finished by hand, and, you know, everything is a lot more, you know, perfect, meticulous. The hinges are placed by hand. So I think that's, you know, that's very important in terms of the actual craftsmanship and manufacturing.
You know, can explain to someone why these are better quality and why they're more beautiful and why they feel better than an injection pair that's cheaply produced. But women can tell. Like, so people don't necessarily know why this seems nicer than when they hold an injection pair. But, you know, with injection, it's usually single color. If it's not single color, then the pattern has to be kind of spray painted on top. It doesn't look as nice. There's not as much color depth. The color doesn't go all the way through the frame. Injection pairs aren't adjustable. You can't insert prescription lenses. And they're just not as comfortable because this material is, you know, it's based from cotton fibers, and so it's more malleable, it's more comfortable. You can tell, you know, if you hold them next to each other. So, you know, that's there. You don't necessarily have to, like, explain it in detail to someone. But I think a lot of people are interested in knowing, you know, more details about the products that they want to spend money on. And hopefully we'll also be talked into buying a quality pair and not just giving up and buying the $20 pairs on the street, you know. Our sunglasses are, you know, very friendly price for handmade sunglasses. And that's, you know, a big thing that goes into the difference between cheap and expensive sunglasses. All cheap sunglasses are injection molded, but sometimes you see expensive sunglasses that are also injection molded. Mm-hmm. And, you know, so to be honest, some people are buying $300 sunglasses that, you know, cost, you know, a few dollars to make, and they're just not getting that value. A major reason is, I think in any industry, if you introduce monopolistic behavior, it tends to increase prices and decrease quality, which has been a problem in the sunglasses industry. I mean, the sunglasses industry is dominated mostly by one company and a handful of other companies who, you know, have a similar business model. It's a very licensed out industry. You know, the companies that dominate the industry, and mainly the one, are very vertically integrated. You know, they control everything. So Luxottica being the main company, they, you know, design, manufacture, distribute. They even own, you know, a major optical insurance company. You know, when you've got one company that's doing all of that, I think they kind of can get away with a lot in a sense. So that explains some of the high prices. And for us at Lumete, it's just us. You know, in that way we can, you know, pass on some of that value to our customers because there's not all the people in between.